Alright, here's the deal. I just fucking finished Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay on the Xbox, and I gotta say, this is like the single best Xbox game I have yet played. And I haven't played that many. I played like Halo 1, I played Star Wars Republic Commandos, and now I played Riddick. And all three are the same shit, right? I don't know if this is an Xbox thing or what, but all of these games are thus far have been like, they're just, I don't even know what the genre is. Like the immersive sim, is that what it's called? Basically, they're all a bunch of, what the fuck is it? System Shock 2. It's just a bunch of System Shock 2 ripoffs. You know, it's like Doom, but there's like a story or something. Speaking of which, I just bought Doom 3 for the Xbox because it looks so good. I don't know what the deal is with that. But basically, this game was fucking out of this goddamn world. It ended far too quickly. Come on. Fucking Vin Diesel and CG. Come on, you can't fucking beat that. Basically, this game is a masterpiece from start until about the very end of the game. Oh my god, this game was so fucking sick. So the entire game takes place in a prison. Look at this, Blockbuster, baby. This is an old copy that I bought. Game takes place in a prison. You know, you're Riddick, you get dropped off at a prison and you gotta escape, right? So that's what you fucking do. And holy shit, like I don't even know where to fucking begin. First of all, the game is gorgeous. I'll start with like the entire premise of the game is that Riddick, for those of you familiar with the movies, I have not seen them yet, although I really want to. He's like blind or something, but he can see, he's got second sight. There's a bunch of fucking bullshit mysticism involved with it. But whatever, he's wearing fucking goggles, right? And so much of the game takes... excuse me, sorry. I'm burping. So much of the game takes place in like darkness and light because he can see in the dark. Like that's the whole thing. He can see in the dark, which is great. Good for Riddick. Riddick can fucking see in the dark. That's awesome. But, you know, when you're in the dark and you're crouching down, nobody can see you, basically. Like, your screen turns blue, nobody can see you, you can sneak attack. You know, there's a lot of stealth elements to this game, which I've never been crazy about, you know, but in having played Star Wars Republic Commandos, there were certain elements of that game that I attributed to, like, survival horror, you know, basically having to plot very carefully your attack, and I was totally wrong about that. Everything I was talking about with Republic Commandos, although that game did it horribly, great game, just terrible execution. Everything I was talking about was actually like stealth based, and this game gets it down pat, you know, in terms of like first person shooter stealth. It's not fucking, what the fuck is it, Metal Gear Solid, you know, where you're like rolling around and you're running around, you get that fucking obnoxious like over top Lego view. You know, this is a first-person game, and I think it probably most closely resembles Fear in terms of the games that I've played. And in fact, Fear must have taken like so much from this game, unless this game is taking from something else. I really don't know what the case is, but basically, the stealth elements are there, you know. You're running around, and, you know, I played the game for a while before I got the hang of the stealth elements, but finally I got the hang of it. I'm like, oh my god, you know, there's a big patch of, like, darkness over there. There's a light here, there's a light here, and in between there's darkness, and there's guards over here, right? So you sprint over to the dark patch, through the light patch, while the guard is looking away. You turn your fucking night vision on, you just clip the guy. He has no idea what hit him. Or, what you can do, that I found out on my own, thank God. You look up, there's a couple of lights up there, you just fucking shoot all the lights out, the entire room is dark, the guards can't see, you turn on your fucking night vision, and you make easy work of them. It's really, really fun. But a problem I have with that is that it's spread out, you know? Like, there's, like, when I finally figured out that shooting the lights out was what you had to do, that section ended, and I was in a different chapter of the game. And then when I finally got back to another chapter that used like lights, I didn't have a gun anymore, you know? So it was a little bit weird, and it's not weird. No, never mind. The pacing works because every section presents a different sort of challenge, you know? I think this game is probably like 6 to 8 hours long, if that. And every fucking chapter has like a different challenge, has a completely different aesthetic, and lighting is so fucking important in this game. You have the night vision lighting, you have regular lighting, and then you have the flashlight on your gun lighting. And the game uses like equal amounts of all of those things. So the lighting in this game is like second to none. I mean, this game looks so fucking gorgeous. I can't even fuck. The amount of fucking pictures I took while playing, the amount of times I was like, oh my god. It's just fucking breathtaking. The game is absolutely breathtaking in terms of like how well realized it is. And they know it too, because they give you like a zoom function where you can zoom in twice, and you can, you know, of course it's supposed to be meant for when you're shooting people, but you can't move while you have the zoom function on unless you're crouching. And when you're crouching, the world turns blue, you know? And so really it's sort of like this superfluous like zoom function that doesn't work when you're running and gunning. And so what it turns into is basically like binoculars, you know? And you can just examine all the textures throughout the game. You can examine every fucking follicle of this goddamn game. And it's incredible. This game is incredible. It's so fucking beautiful. I had the best fucking time playing it. And I'm so pissed off that it was only like 6 to 8 hours, you know. Because the ending, like the last 45 minutes of the game is fucking stupid. You get into a big mech and you're blowing shit up. And then there's like a final boss. You know, so the end of the game is fucking stupid. But that's like a game thing, you know. Every game I played has a fucking stupid ass ending. At least on this goddamn system. Maybe Halo had a good ending. I don't really remember. I haven't played Halo 2 yet, which I should. But you know, Republic Commandos had the fucking worst ending I think I've ever seen in a video game. Truly. I mean, it was so fucking stupid. And so I expect nothing from the last 45 minutes of any video game I play at this point. At least on this goddamn system. But this thing had the rest of the fucking game in spades. I can't fucking believe how good this game is. The sound design is out of this fucking world, you know? If you just stand there and you listen to the sound, you'll be blown away. You're like, how many fucking tracks? Like, the level, the number of tracks on each repeating soundtrack. Like, people screaming, there's these prison sounds, people are fighting off in the distance, this, like, mechanical whirring. It's just so intoxicating. Like, this game is so intoxicating. The entire time I played it, I felt drunk with it. I was so into the aesthetic of it. And I'm so into fucking Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel's a fucking badass. You know, like every fucking line of dialogue he gave to the game is just perfect, you know? It's either like this over-the-top, like poetic kind of thing where it's like, yeah, it smelled like blood and fear. You know, it has like that sort of tropey ridiculousness to it, but he delivers it with such eloquence and grace that you really can't fault the game for like going all out when it comes to him. You know, he is the fucking intellectual property of this game. You're playing the game as Vin Diesel. You're playing a game as Vin Diesel. How badass is that? And I actually looked up interviews because I'm like, you know, the dude gave like 125% to this game. So I'm like, what does he think of? The guy fucking produced the game, whatever that means. Like, he formed a company. Vin Diesel has a company that produces video games starring Vin Diesel. What the fuck? As if like the rest of his career didn't pan out adequately enough. The dude has a video game production company somehow. And so I was so curious. I'm like, well, what does he think about this game? Because he clearly gave a lot to it, you know? Like there must be hours of like voice acting involved, and he's in the fucking game perfectly, like, you know, CG rendered or whatever. And I look up the interviews, and the interviews are so fucking hilarious because he just gives nothing. He's like, you get fucking Vivendi Universal with my company and this other company. You got a home run. Like everything he says in these interviews is just soundbite after soundbite. You got a home run. I knew it was going to be great. It reminds me of like this fucking picture I saw of Mark Wahlberg like promoting a gym, and his quote was, "I was in love with the concept," or no, I was blown away by the concept. All of his interviews are totally soundbite oriented, but his involvement in this fucking game is like so noticeable. Like he is such a huge part of this game. And I think it's cool, like whatever year this came out, I don't know when it came out, probably like 2002 or something like that, 2003. Jesus Christ, when do we find out? But to be 2002 and 2004, between those years, whatever, 2-year period. But the fucking thing is that like, I feel like at that time, being in a video game as an actor was kind of like ballsy. It seems like such a ballsy thing, even to this day, So I don't know. I haven't really formulated my opinion about it, but I feel like it's pretty cool that he was like so invested in this video game to be an actor in it, do all the voice work, be a fucking producer on it, give all these like awful interviews about it. Pretty cool. I think he's fucking badass. I'm like into Vin Diesel. I gotta watch the fucking Riddick movies. But this game is like, it's horror, sci-fi, thriller, basically. Like it doesn't get better than this. And it serves its function so much better than every single fucking horror, sci-fi, thriller movie I've ever seen, because you're there. You're there. You're in the world. And that's the thing that those type of movies do pretty well, to a limit, obviously. Is making you feel like you're part of that world. Like when you're watching the thing, you feel like you're part of that world. You're stuck inside of that Siberian bunker or whatever. But specifically when I was watching, Event Horizon, I thought that movie was fucking stupid as fuck, but I loved the design of it. And all I wanted out of that movie was to be able to just indulge in it a little more. Like the fucking editing of the thing was so fucking stupid. Like the quick pace, it wasn't even quick pace, but it was paced to fit within 2 hours. And I feel like this type of stuff, like you can't get anything out of that unless it's like an 8-hour ordeal, unless people have time to really like let that atmosphere bleed into them when they're playing. And that's what this game did. This game has like just some of the most incredible atmosphere I've ever experienced while playing an Xbox game specifically, but like games in general. And I keep saying Xbox specifically because this is a fucking Xbox original game, It's got the purple thing, which I've been trying for the past day or so to find articles about this, but what the fuck is the deal? And somebody, please, God, if you know what I'm talking about, let me know, But what the fuck is the deal with the original Xbox and the color purple? Like, you will never see a shade of purple like you do on the original Xbox. I'm serious. They invented their own shade of purple. They invented their own color. And you see it in Halo 1, you see it in Halo 2, you see it in Star Wars Republic Commandos, and you fucking see it here. A purple color unlike anything you've ever seen before, but so dictated by the lighting engine they have on this system is so fucking bizarre. And like every other fucking great Xbox game, you get the fucking flashlight thing. What the fuck is the deal with that? You get the flashlight, you get the color purple, And anybody who's played a fucking Xbox game knows exactly what I'm fucking talking about. So, if somebody wrote about it, or journalism, or anything, and you know about it, let me know, because I'm so fascinated by what the fuck they're doing with this color purple. But it's everywhere in this game. It permeates this entire game, Especially with the night vision. The night vision is just an excuse to use that like 1 point lighting where there's just a flash on something that's coated in this weird color purple that we see in Halo, and we see it in Star Wars Republic Commandos, and I don't know, it seems like we're gonna see it in fucking Doom 3. This game is like fucking next level. Like I can't think And I even had the goddamn receipt here. The last person who got this game, checked it out as a... Kimberly Smith. What's up, baby? Checked it out as a weekend rental back in 2004. Holy shit. For $6. It's about how much I paid for this game. Seriously. I mean, if you have a 360 or an original Xbox and you haven't played this fucking game, you've got to play this fucking game. This is the perfect fucking weekend rental. This is exactly what a video game should be. You should be able to, at least in my opinion, like a straightforward narrative game like this should be able to be beat in 3 days, which is exactly what I did, and every fucking second of that game counted. Every second of this goddamn game was perfect beyond compare. Every second of sound, every second of color, every second of lighting, every second of combat was absolutely star-studdedly perfect.